Well, in anticipation of the storm, we've had crews out in a lot of Lamar, Forest, and Jones counties, and even up Jasper County and Clark County. We've had them out treating bridges, trying to make sure we've got salt on the roads. In a couple of areas, they've come through and tried to just clear it out entirely, but salt has a less than desirable effect when the temperature drops below, say, 20 degrees or so. And so as we have the temperatures continuing to drop with this freezing precipitation, it just makes it harder for us to keep up with the ice and stuff that's collecting on the road. Sleet will build up in pockets and areas. We can treat it with the salt and it will melt, but then sometimes the temperature is so cold that wind coming across it just refreezes, especially on bridges and overpasses where the wind can get both under and above the road surface. It just freezes really quickly. But crews are out, they're working, they're doing their best to try to keep the roads passable. Even though they are passable, it's still hazardous to drive on them. We don't recommend anybody be out in these conditions trying to drive. If you absolutely have to, then we suggest you do a couple of things. Slow down when you're driving. It may look like it's clear, but a lot of times ice is very transparent on the road, so you don't see it, and it can cause you to skid and lose control. So go extra slow. Make sure you leave extra space between you and the vehicles around you, especially 18-wheelers or vehicles that have trailers attached to them. They tend to have a more difficult time with navigating ice and things like that. They can run into you. Also, when you brake slowly and gently. Don't slam on your brakes. That can cause your wheels to lock up and then you'll lose control. If you're out in these conditions, also be sure that you pack some blankets and some water in your vehicle. Some of these accidents, especially those involving 18-wheelers, can last multiple hours. Last night we had one around Jackson that lasted about 4 hours. And so cars were stuck out on the interstate as we tried to move, some 18-wheelers. 18-wheelers are difficult to move in general, then you add ice and it just makes it that much more. For tonight, we are going to see more temperatures dropping below the freezing point. So roads that have maybe opened up and the ice has melted, they're still wet. We very well might see those roads freeze back over overnight, and then you're dealing with icy conditions all over again. We need multiple, hours of temperatures above 32 degrees. And the forecast for the Pine Belt shows that we're going to have some freezing temperatures, and we may have spurts of warmer temperatures, maybe even in the 40s, but then they'll be back down into the 20s and teens again overnight. So just be prepared for this to be an ongoing thing for the next couple of days. And just pay attention, be extra careful when you're out on the road. We say use extreme caution. There are a lot of unpredictable factors in here. And as much as our crews are out trying to work, we can't be everywhere and we can't get every single road completely cleared. So we just need drivers to use some common sense, stay off the road if you don't have to be out there. We've actually been treating, statewide since Wednesday. We've had crews out overnight in trouble spots on bridges and in certain stretches of interstate and highways, getting them ready so that we knew this was coming. The southeastern portion of Mississippi was the last to get hit with this, but we were ready for that as well, and putting, all of those elements on the road surfaces to prevent or to at least slow the freezing process to help keep the roads passable. But yeah, we're going to continue doing that throughout this entire winter event. It looks like there's even possibly a second wave to come Wednesday and Thursday. And so we're just working toward that as well. We just need some help from Mother Nature to bring those temperatures back up to help us break up all that ice on the roads. Because even when the road is treated and you can drive on it, it's a passable road, it's still hazardous to drive on because there could be ice underneath that slush and it could, send your car into a skid and in the ditch or into another vehicle.